Are you underselling yourself in interviews? Or worse yet, are you staying silent in meetings where your ideas and your thoughts can and should be shining? Well, today, let's fix that because we're going to explore 3 powerful strategies where we teach you how to advocate for yourself in a way that is effective and authentic. And if you stay into the end, we're going to have a bonus tip that you can implement right away. So grab your pen, grab your piece of paper, get ready to take some notes because we're going to get started right now. Hey there, Dr. Gordon Amerson here, Superintendent of Schools and Gallup Certified Strengths Coach. And on this channel, we explore my experience from classroom teacher all the way to school district superintendent to help you go further, faster in your educational and your leadership journey. If this is your first time with us, thank you so much for being here and welcome in. While you're here, don't forget, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification so you don't miss any cool updates or any of our latest content or episodes. So sometimes when we talk about this concept of advocacy, how to advocate for yourself, if you think about being in interviews, if you think about being in a competitive space where you want your ideas or your thoughts or maybe your strategies to be adopted by a group or by a team or by your boss, you've got to learn how to effectively advocate for yourself and for your position in a way that is authentic, in a way that does not come off braggadocious or arrogant, but that just exudes confidence and competence. Because when you show that you're confident and then you show that you're competent, people will adopt your ideas. They'll want to run with your ideas. They'll look to you for guidance. They'll look to you for wisdom. They'll look to you for insights. And so today we want to unpack that. We want to talk about 3 ways that you can advocate for yourself, for your position, for who you are, for what you bring to the table. And we want to do it in such a way that inspires confidence. And we put away any issues around arrogance. So let's jump right in to strategy number 1, how you advocate effectively for yourself. All right, strategy number 1. Strategy number 1 is that self-advocacy is a professional responsibility and not a personality trait. Educators all over the world operate in this concept of operating in the shadows, being invisible, not stepping out into the spotlight. And the reality is that educators don't have to make being humble or having humility, they don't have to make that synonymous with being invisible or having invisibility. Listing out our accomplishments, recognizing our accomplishments, and embracing our accomplishments is not bragging. When we showcase who we are and what we've done and what value that we bring, we are actually sharing with folks the things that we want them to know. And we're also instilling trust and confidence about our leadership, our capabilities. But if we don't tell people, if we don't share with people what we do and what value that we bring, then how can we assume or hope or wonder if they'll know our value? So don't make humility synonymous with invisibility. It doesn't have to be that way. But we also can find effective ways to self-advocate, to highlight and showcase our natural gifts, our natural talents, our strengths. These are things that we should share with others. And so we invite those folks into the conversation about what things that we can do to enhance their world, what value we could bring, what problems we might be able to solve, what ideas we might be able to create with them. This is a concept that is rooted in self-advocacy, that it's a part of our responsibility. It's a part of our professional duties to share with folks so that we're raising the tide of all boats by sharing what we have and what we bring to the conversation as well. So this concept is really, really important about being able to advocate for your impact. And the only way that you can advocate for your impact and the only way that you can push a positive agenda about what you bring to the table is to share it, to share your results, to share your expertise, to share your gifts and talents. That self-advocacy is critically important, and that is strategy number one. All right, let's talk about strategy number two. And strategy number two is that data plus story equals influence. Because remember, giving the context, giving additional information, giving the narrative along with data points is what connects, and it's what sticks with people. Our ability to share with folks not just an abstract concept, but in fact how data and numbers and information tied with the experience or with the relationship or with the activity or with the event or with the lived experience, how that makes for a very powerful learning experience, how that makes for a very powerful growth opportunity. Those are things that are important. So let me paint a specific picture. So follow this example, if you will. So after implementing small groups, my students grew 1.5 grade levels in just a short span of 6 months. One of my students even told me, now I love to read with my little brother. So if you use credible examples, it makes you more human. Just data, just numbers on a page, just blips on a graph, just information on a chart. That's important. But the human experience is what makes it stick and what makes it credible. So we give critical examples, and I want you to think about how you frame these in the context of in two different places. How you frame that type of data and story to create influence in an interview. Think about the impact or the effect it would have on an interview panel. But even more so, think about if you're in a professional collaboration meeting and you're talking with grade level colleagues and you're trying to maybe get them to adopt some good strategies, some good systems, some good instructional practices that you've been using, that you've been seeing effects and results from. Well, you can say, here's my data, or you could give the example that I just shared a few moments ago to connect in a really authentic way, right? Because that credibility is important. It's important in an interview, but it's also important in the professional setting where you're trying to influence and inspire a group of colleagues as well. So self-advocacy, take the data and take the powerful stories, put them together and create true influence. And that is strategy number two. All right, before we move to strategy number three, check the pinned comments below. I'm going to be starting and I'm building some interest around if you want to go on a journey with me to learn more about the strategies to interview well, the strategies of how to navigate all the in and outs of preparing for your next interview, thriving in that environment and being able to just stand out amongst all the candidates. Check out the pinned comment below and click on that link to get on the interest list for my next group, who I'll be walking through and spending time directly coaching and supporting, because we're looking forward to bringing in our next group to be able to coach and support and give that really hands-on, real-time feedback and real-time support. Check that pinned comment below, and let's move to strategy number three. All right, let's talk about strategy number three. And strategy number three is that advocacy creates opportunities while silence closes doors. In many cases, the opportunities that show up for folks, they don't show up just haphazardly. They show up because people create and claim those opportunities because they're presented, because people are advocating, they're sharing who they are, they're sharing what their value is. the more that we know about you, the more that we're able to connect with who you are, the more that we're able to see and resonate with your stories and with your experiences, the more opportunities we will then start to begin to try to seek out that align with the gifts and the talents and the strengths that you have. But again, just like strategy number one, operating in this humility means invisibility space is not the opportunity that is going to abound for you. Opportunity seizes itself, and we find ways to advocate for ourselves. We find ways to tell our story. We find ways to connect. Many leadership roles, grants, opportunities, they are seized by folks who advocate for themselves. Many of those opportunities, they're claimed. And when others see that you articulate your goals and your abilities effectively, they will seek out and search for opportunities for you. My own personal experience going back many years, I advocated for myself. I showed my value. I took opportunities when they popped up. When I was a classroom teacher and the principal said, hey, we've got opportunities to do this and this and this on campus, I was jumping at it. I was jumping at opportunities to lead during the summer school program. I was jumping at the opportunity to do tutoring. I was jumping at the opportunity to coach sports and be involved in extracurricular activities. Just advocating, self-advocating, showing my value, showing my worth, showing my initiative. And that self-advocacy turned into opportunities to become an administrator, right? Because people began to see my worth and see my value just because I was advocating for myself. Not because I was running around running my mouth. I was running around and doing and producing and showing my value and my worth. That is, again, what people are looking for. So find ways to advocate for yourself in a way that shows and demonstrates value, that you want to raise the value of the community. You want to add value to the community. You want to add value to the school. You want to add value to your grade level or your department. That's what you're looking to do. And you're going to showcase your abilities to do that. Visibility leads to opportunities. The more visible you are, the more engaged you are, the more connected you are, the more opportunities will be provided. The more opportunities will show up for you. All right. And that is strategy number 3. All right. So if you stay with us until this point in the video, thank you for hanging around with us. And we've got a bonus tip for you. But before we move to that bonus tip, tell us in the comments below. What's the one thing you have done recently that deserves recognition, that deserves your self-advocacy, that deserves for you telling that story, telling your worth and telling your value? What's one thing? Share that with us in the comments below. And let's move to our bonus tip. All right, let's talk about our bonus tip for today. And our bonus tip is to use the 3W method. Now, what is the 3W method? The 3W method is to share what I did, why it mattered, and what happened next. So for this one, I'm going to give a very specific, possible templated example of what this could sound like. Because when you're using the 3W formula, it can be in the context of an interview, or it could be in the context of pitching an idea within a professional collaborative setting with colleagues or with peers. So here's a specific example of what the 3W formula could look and sound like. I redesigned our team's PLC structure. That's what I did. So that teachers could actually use student data in real time. That's why it mattered. And within 6 weeks, our intervention referrals dropped by a whopping 22%. That's what happened next. 3W formula. Why is this a good strategy? I'm always talking about, on our channel, lots of different episodes around using frameworks. And as we use frameworks and we use strategies and structures of how to tackle some of these tougher issues, like when we're in an interview, and if I'm feeling stress and anxiety and kind of the gravity of the moment, if I have some frameworks, if I have some different hacks or some different strategies I can rely on or I could go back to, it might help me just shine a little bit brighter in that particular high stress moment. So using the 3W formula is a great way to have a very, very strong, structured, thorough answer for any topic. You could use and apply that in almost any scenario, almost any environment. And by using the 3W formula, it's not something that you have to learn over time. It's not super complicated. You could begin using it tomorrow, next week, at the next possible opportunity. You could implement that and it would give you gravitas and leverage and impact in your answer in that particular moment. So use the 3W formula. I think it will serve you very, very well. So there you have it. 3 strategies of how to advocate effectively while making sure that you're not arrogant or conceited, but you are somebody who would be respected and somebody who would be elevated because you're advocating in a really effective way, as well as a bonus strategy that will help you in your next interview or your next professional setting when you want to advocate for a specific thing. So hopefully you found some value. Thank you so much for staying with us through the episode to this point. We want to continue to add this value. We want to continue to grow your skills and your knowledge. And again, if you are looking for extra support, go to that pinned comment below. Get on our interest list. Get on our waiting list for our next cohort that we're going to personally coach and support through as they prepare for their next interview. And as we continue to move forward, check out this next video as well. It's going to continue to grow your skills and your knowledge. So check that one. Don't forget to check the description below for more information on mentoring and coaching and our weekly newsletter, et cetera, et cetera. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to develop this community of educators and leaders. And I can't thank you enough for your support. And we're going to continue to add value, continue to bring you great information that's going to continue to build your skills, your knowledge, and your expertise. All right. We're going to grow this community to 10,000 leaders. And I'm so excited to continue this work with you. All right. And so until we see you on our next one, take care of each other, take care of yourself, and be well. Thanks, everyone.